In my journey through school, I faced a number of challenges that I want to share today, and the goal is to encourage students. I want to give you hope if you have been failing. Know that you're not the first person to fail, and that you need to see failure in a different light to be able to pull through. First and foremost, let me start by just sharing my story. I'm Victor Marcus, and many years ago, particularly in 2002, I sat for the first time what in my country, in Nigeria, we call WAEC. And in my country, we have the opportunity to either write WAEC or NECO or write both. WAEC is West African Examination Council, is for the entire West African region, and NECO is the National Examination Council, which is for those in Nigeria. So I took the exams for the first time in 2002, and can you imagine, I got a credit in Hausa language. Well, I'm from the northern Nigeria, so it's not a surprise that because we speak Hausa a lot, or predominantly is the predominant language we use every day and in the market, in everyday life. So it was quite easy for me to pass Hausa language, and that was the only paper I had a credit. Now, after that, of course, I have to sit again for another exams if definitely I will see myself in the college. I sat for NECO twice. I sat for WAEC how many times? Yes, I sat for WAEC 4 times. That's making 6 times to be able to get the result that is required, that can help me get through college, as well as also travel abroad or be accepted anywhere in the world. And another layer of the challenges I had as well also is in the matriculation exams. That is the university matriculation exams. In my country now, I understand that all the exams into tertiary institutions have been unified. I wrote the university matriculation examination 4 times. So, and then along the line, I went for a particular program. The program is called IJMB, Interim Joint Matriculation Exams. In that case, you go for a program which you'll be taught for 2 years, and then after then you write exams. If you pass, it's an A-level course or A-level program. It's an A-level program, and after that, if you succeed, and then you move to the university into 200 level or into second year in the university. And these are some of the challenges I face. So totally, if you will look at all the exams in which I wrote, I wrote a total of 11 when you look at my SSCE, as well as also the JAMB examinations, and as well as also IJMB. So a total of 11. Now, but by the time I go to the university in 2007-2008 academic session, I had already gained a lot of wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Of course, I don't want to go through all the psychological challenges, and as well also as the difficulty, how I passed through all these years writing exams again and again. But at this point, I think it is good to thank my parent for each time I come to this point, to sharing this story. Sometimes it gets me emotional, because if my parent didn't believe that I believe in my future, I don't think they will keep paying for exams again and again for me to write, knowing fully well that there is a likelihood that I will write and fail. Within all these times that I have failed, they were still willing to pay for another exams for me, encourage me. I thank them for all they did. I am really grateful. Good to appreciate our parents over and over again. Now, aside from that, I want to just share some of the things I've learned through all these years of challenges, and just to tell somebody that is struggling now that you are not alone, that failure is not the final, and the fact that you have delays doesn't mean that completely you are not going to have that. And the state in which you are, it shouldn't be your circumstance shouldn't be the environment that defines you. And there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I want you to see that. And there's a few things which I had to write, think through them, what I learned through all the years of failure. But interestingly, before I just go through what I wrote, I want to note that at the end of that failure and all that appeared as if I was not, I was a dull student, and I did not understand, schooling is not for me, and all those things. I've heard them. In fact, there's some instances where people came to me and told me that you need to give up about writing. There are other people that can write for you. I mean, there are many opportunities for me to cut corners to allow, but I told myself I can do it. I knew that I just tried to figure out, okay, if today I fail exams, what could be the reason? So for each failure was a moment of thinking, was a moment of trying to look at what exactly happened, what can I build on, what can I improve. So those times of failure became opportunity for me to reassess myself again and to look at where I need to improve. And that has been the philosophy, never to give excuse. This happened, okay, it's because of this, or because they don't like me, that's why they fail me, or because of this. No. But I try always to look at, okay, how can I make improvement through all that has happened? And this has been a way, or the method by which I pulled through those difficult times. And after, when I entered university, and I put all the things I have learned all the years, and by the end of 4 years, I graduated with a first-class degree. And not just only that, I was the first in that department to graduate with such a result. And that made a mark, looking at where I was coming, an unforgettable experience and a mark in my life that continued to help me through. And by that, also because of my performance later in the university, also I was able to get scholarship for my undergraduate, I got scholarship for my master's, I got scholarship for my PhD. So today I teach in the medical school. I'm an associate professor of medical biochemistry. So this is just to encourage many people that have failed again and again, to tell you that there is still so much ahead of you, and you can contribute to the society. And the idea is not just only for you to succeed, is that you believe that you have something to contribute to the society. You believe that you have something that you need to contribute to other people, and therefore that should be your driving, and that should be your fuel that propel you actually to work harder, to be a contribution, a positive contribution to the society. And now let me just go through some of the things in which I have learned. The first thing is failure is not the end unless you stop trying. Yes, I told you that I went through different times of my life writing exams again and again. So failure is not the end. Definitely it's not the end. The fact that you fail doesn't mean that it is the end. But the only if you stop trying, that certainly becomes that. I mean, that shows that is the end. But you must keep trying and not stop what you are doing. In the side, you just need to improve on what you are doing. Don't just repeat what you have done. You need to reassess what you have done in the past that actually got you the failure, or that got you an F, but then you need to improve on that and look at it. So it's not time for blaming, it's a time for reassessment and time to work more and more again until you achieve. The second part of it is success, or the second lesson I learned is that success begins with a change within. Success begins with a change within. And that is remarkable, because one of the things, although I was failing over and over, but one thing I refused to agree is that I am a failure and that I cannot be able to do it. Even when others offer me an opportunity, that's not an opportunity. I mean, because that's it's an opportunity. I mean, to cut corners in the sense that to ask other people to impersonate, I mean, to write exams for me. I refused. So the point is that first it has to do with a change within. I didn't see myself in the circumstance in which I was. I saw myself in who I will become. And that was what helped me to pull through. So it starts from the inside. Although the result that I was seeing outside was not what I wanted, but within me, I knew that I was a success and I succeed and I will contribute to other people's lives. So that internal transformation precedes external victory. So it is important that you pay attention to that. The third thing, again, I learned is that knowledge is powerful, but only when applied. Now, each time I fail, I go back again to look at what I need to do. So once I stumble upon those information and what I need to do, I put it to work. So that what makes knowledge powerful is when it is applied. So the fact that you know something and you never apply it doesn't make sense. I mean, you will see the fruit of what you have or what you know. You will see the fruit of what you know. And the fourth thing I want to mention here, what I learned or lessons I learned through all the failures I faced, is in the face of repeated failure, perseverance and consistency in learning will help you to break through. Is the consistency and perseverance. This time you are facing a challenging moment. The best thing to do is to persevere, and also don't stop doing what is needed, because as I earlier mentioned in the first point, that failure is not the end unless you stop trying. Now the fifth thing I learned, or the lesson I learned, is that your current struggle can become a platform for your future influence. Today I have used the challenges I have faced earlier in life, to encourage many people, to influence a lot of people around the world. And the point I am making is that don't allow your current struggle to be wasted. Your current struggle will become a platform that will be used to influence others, that will use to build and to encourage others. And then the sixth lesson I also learned is that you don't need to be the smartest. You just need to be willing to grow, to learn, and to act on what you have been learning. Definitely, most times you don't need to be able to know every other thing. In fact, You just need to be proficient at least in one or two things to be able to contribute to the growth of other people or the society in where we have a lot of problems. And I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solutions. And I guess that that's what you also want to do, to be part of the solutions of our society. So you don't need, the goal is not just to outsmart someone. The goal is that you just have to be willing to learn. You just have to be willing as well to grow every day and to be willing to act on those things you are learning. Now, the seventh point is that every delay can be a tool for your building if you allow it to shape you and not to break you. Yes, it can be a shape for your building. I shared earlier that each time after a failure, I will sit down and reassess myself. What do I need to improve? What do I need to do more? What do I need to drop? And so on and so forth. So those things, the failure became a point. I remember that some times ago when I was taught how to plan. One of the elements in planning is to have a time of reassessment, to reassess what you have been doing. And I guess this is also in a sort, the failure gives us an opportunity for reassessment. To reassess ourselves and to see what we have been doing, what the effort we have been putting, is it sufficient, and what can we do more to be able to succeed. And the last but not the least is that sharing your pain might be a gain, definitely, for strengthening, for healing, for both you and as well others. And that is exactly what I'm doing now, is to share some of those struggles I have passed before, that I went through, and to be able to use it as a gain, to use it to encourage other people, to use it to build other people, and not to start blaming and say, okay, it's because of this, it's because of that. Once more again, I want to appreciate my parents for their effort, for never giving up on me. And I want to just to type or just comment, anybody that have contributed in your life, can you just use this moment to just say thank you, just appreciate the person. It's powerful when you appreciate and acknowledge what other people have done in your life. So mommy and daddy, if you're watching this video, thank you for your effort. You are my heroes.